your own. Uptown Charlotte, in the epicenter.
Joining us now is the president of the Republican group Main Street Partnership and the founder of the Women to Women National Conversations Tour, Sarah Chamberlain. She was the subject of the most important article in the New York Times yesterday, a piece on the 2016 race and the voice of women in the Republican Party. We are so happy to have you here. Tell us about the group. Tell us your personal story about how you came to found it, and then let's get into this crazy election cycle.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. This was founded about 2 years ago because we realized that I was one of the only women in the country that actually ran a Republican group. So we decided that let's go out and tour the country and actually talk to women and find out what their issues are. So I got 2 members of Congress, Renee Elmers from North Carolina and Susan Brooks from Indiana, and they started it with me. And I'm sorry, gentlemen, it really is for women, so no men are allowed, or you have to sit along the back wall.
I'm offended.
So we started in North Carolina, and we have gone across the country, and women have the same issues. And by the way, every issue is a woman's issue. So we talk about everything from ISIS and national security to education reform to corporate individual tax reform to mental health issues. So we gather all the information, we talk with them, and then we come back to D.C. and try to really do something about these issues.
Sarah, I want to ask you about 2 things in the article. One, I love that you talk about representing the governing wing of the Republican Party. I hope they prevail here. But I love this quote because this is my experience as well. You say, quote, "We have never been asked a social issue question." That's true, right? Women don't come up to you and want to tell you about their views about abortion and want to know what you're going to do about it. People think what they think. You know, talk about that disconnect in the media about social issues dominating women's political concerns.
Well, it's a misconception. I mean, and certainly we didn't understand that until we started this tour, but we have now talked to over 1,100 women. Not one question, and they submit them online. Plus, since the New York Times article came out, I've heard from hundreds of more women. Again, no social issues. We are past the social issues. We are really focusing on the economic issues, and the issues are important to our families. And that's what's driving the women in this country, and that's what really should be driving the national agenda. We should stop talking about social issues and talk about issues in general. Because as Nicole, as you and I said earlier, all issues are women's issues.
Can I ask you, this is Chris Jansen, and I want to ask you about an editorial that's in the Wall Street Journal about something that's very much in the news now. Quote, Donald Trump last week used some typically coarse language to describe Hillary Clinton, who responded by accusing Mr. Trump of sexism while announcing that she is unleashing Bill Clinton to campaign for her. This was too ripe an opening for Mr. Trump, who is now attacking Hillary for acquiescing in Bill's predations against women. Mr. Trump is rude and crude, but in this case, he is raising an issue that rightly bears on the 2016 election campaign and the prospect of a 3rd Clinton term. Mrs. Clinton wants to use her gender both as a political sword and shield to win the White House. At the very least, if Mrs. Clinton wants everyone to forget about Bill's harassment of women, she ought to stop playing the sexism card or drop Bill as a surrogate or both. Wow. Is this something that resonates with women? And I mean, you know, there are 2 schools of thought here. One is that, you know, Hillary Clinton, this has all already been litigated, that in fact, when it happened, her personal approval ratings went up. Women admired the way that she handled it. Where do you think all of this is going, or does it matter at all?
Well, to be honest with you, we toured the country, and it really doesn't seem to matter at all. We do not get questions about, do we need a woman as the president? You know, is the gender play a key part? It really goes back to the issues, and the person that is talking about the issues that the women care about is the person that they're going to vote for, no matter if they're male or female.
I think that's something that, I don't know about you, but I hear all the time.
Yeah,
people resent the idea that they're going to vote for a woman because she's a woman. Having said that, they love the idea of a breakthrough candidate. They want a woman, but to think that they're going to vote for someone because of their gender.
Yeah, and you hear from Bernie Sanders supporters as well. Sam wanted to get a question in, but we're going to put him on the bench like you do, Sarah.
This is terrible.
Sarah, I hope you'll come back and tell us what you're seeing and what you're hearing out there on the road as the election year.
This is awful.
Heats up. Thank you very much. Up next, we'll make it up to you. The teenager who gained notoriety for his affluenza defense case has been found and is expected to be